Now, as some of you know, tonight is actually a birthday celebration for the next comic coming up, and as a result, we actually do have cake and cookies for you, and we just got them sliced over there, so I don't want you to like all get up at once and go, but we do have a piece. We have a white cake, a chocolate cake, and a cookie that I've sliced into lots of radial spokes. So just as you will, come over and grab a piece, and we'll celebrate Larry's birthday. But the person coming next, as I mentioned, he's put together this show, and he has been for several months now going all over Indiana doing his comedy. So please welcome for his birthday, Larry George.
I hope everybody gets the irony of me having a priest host this show. But no, I'm so happy you all came out tonight. I look around, I see a lot of beautiful faces. I love seeing beautiful faces because every time I go out, I'm worried I'll be the only one. So, you know, thank you all for coming out. And how about these other comics I got out here tonight? I mean, are they not great? I couldn't be more unprepared. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm so nervous I'm using the mic stand because I'm shaking like a puppy passing a peach pit, but you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. You know, this is the first time I've put on a show. Now, as a softball coach, I coached softball for 9 years as an assistant coach, batting coach, third base coach for my daughter's teams and the all-star teams in Avon. Sorry about that. And I do want to thank you all for the year we won the 12 and under state championship because Brownsburg didn't show up. That was a great year. So, you know, as I dealt with these young girls for 9 years, I feel like I'm fairly good authority on both softball and young girls. And I can tell you, there's no more honest people in the world. They will walk up to you and say, you know, you got something in your teeth. I don't like that shirt. You know, that haircut's ugly on you. I've never seen a more honest group of people in my life than, you know, 12 and under girls. And then once they hit the 14 and under, now that's a whole different attitude situation you got there. You got at least one breakdown every practice. At least one of them sitting on the ground crying, and you're trying to figure out, oh God, now what do I do? What's wrong? I missed that ball. We all miss them. You'll be all right. But I should have got it. Okay. You know what? Get up. Dust yourself off. I'll hit you another one just like it, and you'll get this one. Okay. How do you deal with that? I mean, I have an 18-year-old daughter, and thank God she didn't whine a whole lot. But I'll tell you this one story. It's one of my least favorite memories of my behavior on the softball diamonds. She was in the 10 and under. I believe she was about 9 years old, and she's up to bat. She's got 2 strikes, about 3 balls. Pitcher lofts one at her, and it comes straight at her head. So she drops to the ground, and the ball tips off her bat, and the umpire goes, "Strike 3, you're out." And I let loose a string of profanities from right behind him before I realized I'm standing around a bunch of little children. Maybe I should watch my language. And I had to walk away. That was in Plainfield. And I think you all know who Captain Hook is. Yeah, I let him know. I let him know.
He's still their umpire.
Yeah, he's still an umpire. Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, he and I, we had a few arguments. You know, we didn't see eye to eye. I didn't think that should have been a called strike myself, or an out. But he sure as hell did. I don't know if you've noticed, I do have a large tattoo on my throat. It says "Trust Jesus." Don't think too highly of me. That was a prison decision. The fact I was in prison to make that decision might lead you to believe my decision-making processes might be in question at times. You know, like having a comedy show in a room where the air conditioning's broke. You know, I'm not black, white, and Mexican. I'm mainly white. Extremely white. There is Native American in my bloodline. But my family doesn't want to admit it. Now, I come from Brownsburg, and it didn't take me long growing up in Brownsburg to realize the town name was more ironic than descriptive. You know, at least Whitestown's up front about it. You know. Not misleading at all. You know. But I am so. This is how Brownsburg I am. Bulldog tattoo on my chest. That was another prison decision. I'm sorry. Yeah. You know, I didn't always make great decisions. I've been divorced for 15 years. That was probably a pretty good decision, actually. But she's on her third marriage, and I'm still single, mainly because I found playing plural too difficult. But no, I'm a nerd in disguise. I'll tell you. I grow the beard. I have the tattoos to hide the fact that I'm smart. You know, because when I grew up, it wasn't cool to be smart. You know, we didn't have no Big Bang Theory and all that where, you know, nerds were cool. No, you had to hide it. You know, I hid it pretty well, too. I managed to get into the remedial English, and I think they put me there on purpose because this is how every class went. And I don't know if anybody remembers Mr. Bruins, old basketball coach, Mr. Bruins. He liked to smoke his cigarettes, and he'd come into the classroom and he'd spend the first 5 minutes explaining the assignment. Then he'd walk out. He'd come back for the last 5 minutes. So in the next 5 to 10 minutes after he explained the assignment, I would do it because I was the smart one. And then my paper would get passed around as I slept. Now, I was allowed to sleep in school because I have Crohn's disease, and now I have several forms of arthritis to go with it, so yay me. But yeah, I'm on some nice medication too. That's why I'm shaking so bad. That's why I'm not holding on. Steroids are great. I have acne of a 14-year-old who spends too much time in the bathroom and never showers. But yeah, we all know what I'm talking about. Okay. I have a 16-year-old son. At least I think he's mine. He's about 6'2" now. So I might want to test on that one. I'm very proud of my daughter. She just graduated Avon last year. She's about to start college this year. I'm so proud of her. She graduated with honors. And 4-year honors student, first chair flautist. That's the word, right? Flautist in the marching band. And so yeah, she's so proud of her. She hates me, so I must have done something right at some point. You know? So you know, my son, I can't believe how big he is. I was like, you know, I know there's some tall people in my family, but you know, obviously not me. I'm average, 5'8", right? That's average. About 155 pounds, average. Fully average. Yeah. Been sick for 27 years. That's average, right? I spent a lot of time in the hospital growing up. And actually, my best friend is here in the room tonight, and he would bring other friends to visit me. He would bring me my schoolwork, not that I ever did it, but he brought it. I mean, I had it there. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it.
Welcome, George.
You ain't got no lines tonight. This is all me. And appreciate you showing up, though.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. I said you ain't got no lines. Keep it see, now you done thrown me. Where was I? No, I spent a lot of time in the hospital, and I discovered there are 2 types of surgeons. There's your very serious surgeon, and then there's your jokey, happy surgeon. And I had the latter when I had to have a large section of my bowels removed. And I was at Riley Hospital, so I had the best treatment available. But the surgeon came in, and the first thing he does is he gets these keys out of his pocket, and he goes over to that nice little morphine machine. He opens the door, and he hits that button up a bunch, and then he presses the button. So I got really relaxed. Standing behind him is about 8 college students, 7 of which were beautiful young girls. I'm 17 years old. I don't have a stitch of clothing on. All I have is a large bandage covering me from belly button to about here. He comes in and he rips the blanket off like a magician doing a trick. Ta-da! Still bandaged. See, now, he was real proud of his work because they didn't sew me up. They closed me with a laser. They cauterized me. My scar is almost non-existent. I'm real happy about that, except for the fact that they still cut all my stomach muscles. And my Dumbass went and tried to drive as soon as I get out of the hospital. Yeah, you don't realize how many of the muscles you use until you push on that brake pedal for the first time. Get a quarter mile from home and end up in tears saying, somebody please come get me. This is before cell phones. You know, I'm that old now. I'm 40 today as of 1:36 p.m. So thank you very much. I've always had extraordinarily bad luck on my birthday, so I thought, why not put on a comedy show and see how it goes? So I'm very happy y'all have come out. All that time I spent, in Riley, I watched a lot of comedy, and it always made me feel better. So I'm so happy that as I got older, I got this dream. I was like, man, I can do that. I can do voices, which I'm not going to do for you tonight. I can do accents, which I'm not going to do for you tonight, but one day. But, my favorite is Irish, by the way. And I said, one day I'm going to do comedy, and I'm going to give back that laughter and the joy that I got, so I can make other people feel better. And in turn, their laughter back at me makes me feel better. So I want to say I'm addicted so much to that laughter and applause now that I can't stop. But I want to thank everybody tonight for not feeding that addiction too bad. And my beer's empty. I normally don't drink. I'm really not a drinker, but I'll tell you, it's been a nervous night. This has been one tough day. I'm happy to be turning 40. I'm not gonna lie to you. The doctors told me I wouldn't live to see 25 if I stopped taking my medication. I stopped taking my medication at 18 years old. I'm 40. What do they know? I know what bothers me. I know what hurts. I don't eat that stuff. If you don't know what Crohn's disease is, let me give you a real quick synopsis. Your immune system's too strong. You're supposed to digest food with bacteria, breaks it down. Mine can't tell the difference between good and bad. It kills it all, so I don't break down food to digest it. That's what Crohn's disease is. It can affect you anywhere from the tip of your tongue to the exit hole. And my main concern was where the large and small intestines come together, and I had that removed 22 years ago. And with natural, let's say, herbal medication, I have managed to stay surgery-free for 22 years. I say, I know I look stoned. That is plastic surgery. Reconstructive. Plastic eye socket, titanium nose. It's a permanent look. It's hard to explain to the cops. They never believe it. They think, well, we didn't do that to you, so how do we know it's real? No, it's real. It's fun. I always look high, and that's really hard to explain at times. Thank you. Hey.
Yay. Happy birthday, George.
Happy birthday.
Oh. Wow. Now you can tell how unprepared I am for tonight. Tell you a bit about my family tree. My family vine. There was two names, and I'm not gonna give them both out, out of respect for some of the other family. But two half brothers came here from England. Their offspring have, shall we say, intermarried since the 1600s until, I don't know, my generation. My grandmother was born with the last name of her mother's maiden name because they were cousins. Now, if you do the math, being two half brothers, that means there's one mitochondrial DNA strand that goes from the 1600s to the 1970s. So I have a family vine, a true family vine. And they're more willing to admit that than that my great-great-great-grandmother was a Cherokee Indian because she was dark-skinned. You can't believe how ashamed I am of my family. Luckily, they don't really speak to me because I do this and I tell the truth. I'm known for telling the truth. That's why I'm not allowed to see my kids, because I'm a POS, as they call it. Because I'm honest with them about my use of herbal medication. And I've never lied to my children, ever, not one time. I'm not the one that cheated. And left. I was a good husband. I went to school for heating and air conditioning. I was a service technician and then a service manager at 24 years old. My ex-wife came home one day and said, "I've been cheating on you. I'm going to leave you." I crawled in a whiskey bottle. I said, "I'm going out drinking one night." About 2 years later, I quit. Luckily, I figured out I'm not alcoholic a year after that when I moved in next door to a bar, went over, had one beer, and was done. I was like, wow, this is a neat little experience. And I've been on pain medication my whole life, and I won't get addicted to that. I refuse to. And the doctors don't seem to see it that way. They're like, well, you've been on it for so many years, you must be addicted. No, because addicts get really sick when they don't have it, and I just hurt really bad. So, I mean, there's a big difference. But I'm gonna get off here. My time is about up, and I'm gonna bring up one of my very favorite comics of all time. I'm gonna tell you a little bit before Kurt brings him up. This guy got me interested in voices. He does voiceover work, you'll recognize him. And I wanna thank everybody for coming out and supporting Brownsburg Girls Softball. I always said if I ever got to the point in comedy where I could do shows and put on shows myself, it would always be to benefit others and not myself. I'm not making anything off this. This is all going to the softball. It's all for the girls. So thank you all for coming out tonight. That's my time. I'm Larry George. I don't have to be Don't like that.
Oh, okay. You're not supposed to spill your beer on your second one.